present data analytics and data.
So if you've been using Tableau for any amount of time, you know that there are quite a few use cases where it'd be really nice to reference measure names, whether you'd like to write some custom formatting around them, whether it's sales or profit ratio or profit. It'd also be really nice to have a more dynamic way to change the measure being displayed in a chart. That's a hint. Previously, the only way to do that would have been to create an actual parameter and a measure that's tied to it, where you could say case parameter equals sales, then sales metric, when profit, then profit metric, etc. But that wasn't very dynamic. It meant that the only way you could change your metric would be to select from a little dialog box, like this one. I don't want to type in parameter. So you could say sales. I meant to make that a drop down, right? That would be the only way you could change your measure. You use a drop down there. So with the advent of parameter actions, there's now another option. So you'll notice I no longer have a drop down. I just simply have my same header of totals and my chart. So now I can pass the measure names value to my chart. All right, so it's actually a very simple trick, and you'll also notice that it's changing the header, and then it retains it when I remove the selection. So I can use these as almost like buttons to navigate through my chart. So here's how I did that. So step one, I created a parameter because I'm going to use that. I'm going to seed the values, or I'm going to push the values into that parameter. So I created a measure names parameter. It was just very, very simple. I just created one value with it, sales. I didn't bother populating all values because it did not matter. It's going to absorb the value that I pushed to it. So what I then did is I set up a dashboard action. So I configured a parameter action here. So I said change my parameter. Here, I'll just show you the one I built. Change my parameter using my header. When I make a selection, update that measure name parameter that I created with the field from my data source. So the value I've selected. So I could put any number. I wanted to keep it simple and show something that made some sense there. But now what that's doing is when I make this selection, it works just like a dashboard action. But what it's doing is it's pushing the value of that cell, which is measure name sales, measure name profit, or measure name profit ratio. It's pushing that into the parameter and updating this chart, which contains a dynamic metric based on the parameter.
And that's called parameter action?
Wonderful.
Yes, so this is called parameter actions. So parameter actions were launched, I believe, in version 2019 2 or 1 is either 1 or 2 this year. So a recent update, but one I really, really have enjoyed using. So that's my contribution for round number 1. Rashid, would you like to go next?